Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm talking about how you can use your body to change your anxiety. We often think about anxiety as being the mind game, right? Because so much of it comes from our mind. But today I wanted to talk about how we can use our body helping us along with this. So we want to be able to change our biology. And, before we get into thinking about fearful thoughts and how we can change our thoughts, which a lot of therapies and other modalities concentrate on because that's their area of expertise, right? Changing the fearful thoughts. And it's important to be able to do that, but we also want to be able to keep in mind how we can change our biology that may get us to not even need to be changing our fearful thoughts, because the biology in and of itself can make such a big difference in how we think. So we want to talk about changing our fearful body. When we're afraid, it affects the body in a lot of different ways, right? Our body gets ramped up. It can be very difficult to be controlling our thinking as our body is in this state. And I think most of you may be familiar with how your body can feel. Even, it can be fearful, it can be anger, but it's ramping up. It isn't a calm sense or a calm feeling. It is up. And like I said, that can be anger, it can be worry, anxiety, it can be a trauma response and a flashback kind of thing. But when we are in those states, it can be very difficult to control our thinking, and not even to control our thinking, which a lot of, like I said, therapies and other healing modalities concentrate on. But if we can't get our body into a state where we can think well, we're not going to be able to pull up those tips and tricks that we have learned, right? Or the ways in which we have been taught to try to change our fearful thoughts. So I get email about this all the time when people say, I can't remember what to do. And so this is my plug for how we can ingrain in us how to handle these things. By practicing ahead of time, we are able to become very familiar with how to calm ourselves back down again. But we can't practice it when we're in a heightened state, not when we're angry or anxious or irritated or in a panic. That isn't when we want to go and meditate or try to do some of the ways to calm the body that we have talked about here. We need to practice these things ahead of time. That's why we call it practice. We're doing it ahead of time so that we will be good at it when we need it. We'll be good at it at game time if we've put enough practice in. So one of the most effective ways to deal with fear is to take control of the body. Because when we dispel the physical side effects of fear, it becomes much easier to dispel the mental effects of the fear. So we want to remember this. Make a note to yourself that you want to work on the body also, not just on your thinking. You want to work on your body. And so we want to keep this in mind so that when we need it, it will be there. I always want people to spend time in meditation because it makes a difference. It makes a difference to be able to have the body sitting on purpose, or standing or walking, of course, or laying down, but to have the body in a state on purpose where we are watching our mind and our body and what they are doing. And many times in meditation, we are paying more attention to the thoughts and labeling them and practicing on letting them go. But we can also use that meditation time to pay attention to the body, to the physical effects of our thinking. And we can do that easily in meditation because we've let go of the outer distractions. And this gives us a chance to actually be with the body and see what it is doing in relation to the thoughts that we are having. So that's my plug once again for meditation. If you aren't meditating yet, we have other episodes on meditation, and I want you to just start simply. You don't need to start sitting for 20 minutes a day. You don't even need to start for 10 minutes a day. You can simply start with 5 minutes a day. And if that feels like it's too much and it's overwhelming, and like people write to me, I can't do that because it causes me anxiety, well, then you will sit for 1 minute. You will gaze out the window for 1 minute every day at the same time on purpose. Just be there, gazing out the window, noticing your thoughts and your body for 1 minute. And then you can build from there. It isn't difficult, but it does take practice. Okay, now let's talk about some of the strategies that I wanted you to know about for changing your biology so that you can better deal with your fearful thoughts. The first one is exercise. Working out is definitely nature's anti-anxiety drug. When you work out, your body releases endorphins, which make you feel good. They also expel a lot of the pent-up energy that can trigger us into an anxious state. The tightness in your chest can melt away, your mind will start to slow down, and you have more clarity. If you're feeling worried, go for a brisk walk or hit the gym, or in these days, I'd say hit the weights or do some yoga. You want to move your body. You want to get it into a state of being active. When we are pent up with anxious thoughts, worry, fear, we want to move that energy out. So some sort of energy, a simple walk, like I just mentioned, a brisk walk can work wonders, but we have to remember to do it. So I hope that you're taking notes, perhaps in your journal or little sticky note, because if this is important for you, this body piece, this biology piece, I want you to remember it. Another way that you can do it, if you can't get out to exercise and change up your biology that way, actually changing your breathing is a big part of that. You can just do some breathing exercises. Because when we're anxious, we breathe rapidly. We breathe shallow and rapid. There, right in the upper third part of our lungs, we do not take a good full breath. And when we breathe like that, it raises our heart rate. It increases muscle tension, it causes dizziness, and it creates other negative effects. So to counteract that, we want to focus on changing the breathing patterns. The way that we do that is to inhale. I like nose breathing if it's possible for you. Not everyone can breathe through their nose, so of course, breathe as best you can. But inhale slowly and let your belly be relaxed enough that you can actually feel your lungs expanding and your belly poofing out just a little bit. So breathe in slowly and let your belly poof out, and then just pause gently there, very briefly, and then slowly exhale. The exhale is very important. This is where we will exhale more slowly than the inhale, and we will try to extend it just a little bit. Again, just a little bit for our pause and just a little bit extra time on our exhale. Now, there's also another way of breathing that can actually shift you and your biology. So that would be to inhale, and then when you get to the top of your inhale, inhale again. So it's like breathing in again, and then to exhale really slow and long, just like with our other breathing exercise. This is something that we actually do quite naturally as we're beginning to get really tired and fall asleep. Even you might notice animals doing this. And as they're beginning to relax, it's like relaxing, and they get a breath in, and then we take another little quick breath in on the top of our breath, and then exhale really slowly. So this is a signal that we are going into our parasympathetic mode. And so we can change it by doing this consciously. We're changing our breath to change our biology. Another thing that we can do is to relax our muscles. We've talked before about progressive muscle relaxation as a technique of, tightening and releasing the muscles. We can do that throughout our whole body. One way you can do this is by doing our body scan that is on our website. You can go there to get that. And what you want to do just to do some progressive muscle relaxation is start with your toes and flex and tighten them for 10 seconds and then slowly releasing them for 10 seconds. You can do the same thing with your calves and your thighs and all the way up through your body as we do in the body scan, but you can just do this yourself. Another thing you can do is to eat well and to sleep well. Our diet and our sleep, which we get into deeper in other episodes, but this is your reminder that they change your biology. And the food that you take in is information. It is information to your body. And your sleep has a huge impact on the way you feel. So we want to remember to keep those in order also. As much as possible, try to eat healthy, nutritious foods, avoid processed foods and sugars and fizzy soda drinks. Eat fruits and vegetables, and fresh is best, frozen is awesome, but avoid the processed foods if you can. On the other hand, do not stress over this. Do the best you can for where you are at in your life right now. Eat best, and really where I see people make the biggest changes dietary-wise is to eliminate things. Eliminate the sugars, eliminate the processed foods as much as you can, and to eliminate the caffeines and alcohol. That makes a huge difference and leaves a nice big opening for those fresh fruits, vegetables, and grains and so on. Stay away from mood-altering substances like alcohol and caffeine. If you are struggling with anxiety, with mood, with anger, it is best to stay away from anything that would be affecting your brain in a way that is causing changes in your brain. So that's mood-altering substances altogether. And also, when we're talking about the sleep piece, see if you can't get between 7 and 9 hours. That puts 8 right in the middle, but I think getting to 7 for many people would be a bonus. I know many people are not even sleeping that much. Try to get more sleep, and if you miss some sleep during the week, try to get a quick nap Or try to catch up a little bit over the weekend if you can. Sleep cycle seems to be they're showing some evidence of it being more of a weekly event than just one day. Of course, you want to shoot for your 7 to 9 hours if you can, but then if you miss up and you need to get a little bit of extra sleep, try a nap or to catch up a little bit on another day. I hope these have been helpful for you. The body really makes a difference in how our mind is working. And now for today's quote. You do not have to be fearless. Just don't let the fear stop you. And that's from Charlie Day. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.